Okay, we're recording now if you want to start.
All right, so I reached out to Sarah and was just excited to do a call with her, have her advice and knowledge and just value, because I feel like at this point, you know, some of us have, or I'll speak for myself, have been a coach for quite a while, and we, I feel like sort of were raised in, you know, challenge packs, on that, and I feel like sometimes we have to change with the times a little bit. And I just had started thinking about, you know, different ways that we can help people, because that's what we do, right? Like, just because somebody's not ready necessarily to buy a challenge pack doesn't mean that we can't help them in some way. So I was just thinking, like, what are some ways that we can help our teams earn money in different ways that don't just include a challenge pack, and at the same time, obviously, continue to help people. So Sarah and I had just chatted about some stuff, and I was just really excited to kind of do this together. So for if my team, if y'all are watching the recording, Sarah and I are in the same downline, kind of, couple up. You're 2-star qualifying, right?
Off and on. Yeah, this week I am.
So I'm just going to turn it over to her and let her take it away.
Okay, thanks, Morgan. I know we have a few people from a few different teams, but this is kind of cool. Like, if you're a little confused on where everyone comes from, essentially we're all part of Team Courage. I have a success partner that's under Summer. Morgan and I have, like, you know, we're not in the same, like, actual downline, if you will, but, like, we share a team as well. And then I believe Krista, that was maybe going to be here, is one of Courtney Bell's coaches, and we'll be sharing this replay with her team too. But we all kind of came together because we're very similarly situated coaches. Like, we've been here for 2.5 years. We have similar sized teams, and we have people that are building and maybe looking for different ways to approach this business that aren't, like, Success Club driven. And I think that what I wanted to talk about tonight was 2 different things that can make you successful in this business that have nothing to do with really a Success Club point. And I want to get started, because this is going to tie into what I talk about first. I want everyone just to take a picture of the screen. If you can, get your phone. I'm going to take mine, because I want you to make a post after this, and I want you to post about the coaching opportunity. And I think that this is going to be the, like, major piece of what I talk about, because this is where most people are scared shitless to talk to people about joining me as a coach. I think most of us wait until that 30-day mark when we add challengers to say, hey, do you want to join me now for a discount? We don't really feel comfortable talking about the business opportunity. And a lot of us probably are in a position where we don't have maybe the income milestone that we've hit yet to share, but I'm here to tell you, like, you don't have to have that. It can be as little as, like, I'm learning so much more post college, you know, in this last 6 months of coaching than I ever have before, and I've got this awesome community of people that are building me up, and it's making me better at my job. Like, those types of posts are totally relatable to people, because a lot of us, when we get into the real working world, see that there's not a lot of substance to it. So I want you to use this picture that you just took, or maybe you have a better one, you know, one that's a little bit more eye-catching, and in the next 24 hours, make a coaching opportunity post. And it can just be, you know, message me if you're interested. And if those people don't really message you, that's totally fine. But if they like that post, then I want you to reach out to those people. But I just wanted to talk about this. Like, I think in this business, Beachbody puts out Success Club as the huge driver of, you know, how well you're doing, or you have these rank goals that you try to hit that show how well you're doing. But if you've seen the income releases that come out, you know, there are Emerald coaches out there earning $78,000 a year, I think was the high end number last year. You don't have to be, like, extremely high rank. You don't have to have really high Success Club numbers. I think that there's a general misconception, I guess, with us, probably in this type of business, that we have to give somebody a transformation first. But we have this huge business to offer them. I was reading this book, and I'm going to share it with you guys because I think it's really helpful to read through it just to know why multi-level marketing might make sense for people. It doesn't have to be this bad word. And it stated that real success in an MLM comes from building an organization. That means building your own team. And the first part of what I'm going to talk about is sponsoring and teaching. And in our language, I think that really comes down to getting to Emerald yourself, because that means you have a team, and teaching your coaches that you sponsor how to grow themselves to Emerald. If you can duplicate that behavior and then teach your coaches to duplicate that behavior, you might never hit Success Club 10, but you might grow a killer income. And the reason why is because you have a lot of people in your organization just doing a little bit. And I think with this Success Club mentality and with this retailing side of things, we think we have to sell a whole bunch of stuff, and we all want to cover the cost of our Shakeology with what we sell, which is great. That's a good goal, but why not think long-term, and that I want to grow an organization that's going to be sustainable and that's going to continue to grow. That's the benefit of us being in a multi-level marketing company. You know, we can basically add people to our team and have them work, and we all benefit one another. It doesn't have to be this icky thing. You know, I think in the beginning when I got started with this, I thought there was no way I would ever hit a goal of earning $500 a week, because that means I would have to sell 10 challenge packs in a week. Well, yeah, if you look at it solely as a retailer, then that's exactly what you're going to have to do. But you have this whole other realm of things to offer people in terms of financial freedom and building a business. And if you teach one person how to teach another person how to add coaches, that's when you start to really grow and develop a business that can take off. And so I wanted to kind of get your mind thinking in a different way, because I think that you probably all selected going to this and you thought I was going to give you some giant secret on how to hit Success Club. And I just don't even think Success Club should be a factor in this. You know, you've got a business opportunity to offer someone, and I know that all the objections in your mind are coming in right now, like I'm scared to do that, or I don't have a success story yet. But if you could talk about the possibility of what's to come with people, and they can talk about the possibility of what's to come with other people, then that's where you grow something that's really going to create that legacy you want. The book, just for future reference, is this 45-second presentation that will change your life. And it's a quick read. Like, I just reread it this weekend to be able to talk about it with you guys. But it just talks about exactly what I'm saying. The key to success is sponsoring coaches and teaching them to sponsor coaches. So I think that what this requires is, one, comfort in presenting the opportunity to people. And you don't have to know everything. You know, we all go through that phase in the beginning where we're excited and we vomit all this information over people. I think the key a lot of times is being able to connect them with the right information rather than feeling like you have to give it all to them. And then two is, once you have signed a coach, you teach them how to present the presentation to other people. So in most of these books like this, they kind of boil it down to, you're probably going to find 3 to 5 people, or this will make you successful. You're going to find 3 to 5 coaches that will match your level of energy. They'll match your level of effort. They will match your level of work. And those 3 to 5 people essentially make you a successful organization, because if they're doing the same things you're doing, you see the potential for growth, right? And I think that's the part of this that's really hard to wrap your head around at first, because your paychecks every week in the beginning typically just show whatever you sold the week before. But if you could start thinking more of, I have a business opportunity to share with people, and growing in that fashion, I think you might find that you will get more frequent paychecks of higher numbers. And then it doesn't all rely on you. So I know that this is kind of like this overwhelming topic when you approach it this way, because our mentality is so invite to a free group, invite to a challenge group, then invite to coaching. I think that if we looked at the business potential and felt comfortable talking about that, then all those people that are telling you I have my own gym, or I have my own Weight Watchers membership, or I have my own personal trainer, there's still a whole other side to this that we don't talk to those people about, you know? And I think that sometimes we have to feel more comfortable approaching them with the business first, and then tying in how the products or the programs could fit in with what they're doing, rather than inviting to a challenge group and you've already excluded them from the challenge group when they say, no, I've got all that, you know? So I think I just wanted to get you guys thinking in that direction. The other book that we just finished in our current challenge group is this Miracle Morning, but the one I have is the Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And it goes over this same topic of, are you willing to make this business presentation to 250 people to find your 5 people? Are you willing to give 5 to 10 hours of your week to make those presentations to find your 5 people? And I think if you look at it in that sense versus finding 5 to 10 people every month to get you to Success Club or whatnot, then it becomes, to me, more manageable. Yes, we all know people burn out from this. They flake out. They disappear after they sign up and you get a cancellation notice. But if you can get the people in the door, connect them with your upline, which I think that's what we're here for. We're here to serve our coaches and help present the opportunity to our coaches and their prospects, and get them a quick win as well and start reaching down a little bit deeper, then I think you see people stay around a little longer too, because they get that quick win right off the bat. And I do honestly think that in my history of being a coach, if I don't have someone that gets success within the first 30 days, they're either going to revert to a discount coach, which then likely leads to them going inactive, or they're just going to quit because they don't see this whole other side. So the few lines that I wanted to share with you guys in this book, and I think they're really helpful, are stop looking for people who want to sell a product or program, but start looking for people who want to earn an income without having to go to work every day and are willing to put in 5 to 10 hours a week. And, I think we all think that we have to find somebody that's really comfortable with sales, but like maybe you just find the mom that is living paycheck to paycheck and is willing to put herself out there to offer this opportunity to other people. Like maybe you find people that are the total introverts like I was, who never post on social media, but this might be something that could totally transform what their future looks like. And I think if people really saw the power of, like, if we could continue to duplicate with our downlines and you could retire in like 10 years versus 20 or 25, most people probably would be willing to put that 5 to 10 hours a week in for it. I just think that we have had this mentality of constant groups, like, let me finally get you to the phase where you've qualified yourself as a coach, rather than offering the business first and then having them do the behaviors that kind of fall in line with it. And I watch these calls with really successful coaches. I think that Moira Kabucha or something that lives in Charleston, I guess, Morgan, you probably have seen some of her stuff. There's this Jolie, somebody who lives in Charleston, and she was a yoga instructor. These are people who like didn't have any desire for sales, and they already had other businesses. They already had maybe a group fitness certification, but when they saw how quickly they could see a return, on that challenge pack cost, they ran with the business. And I just think that if we get a little bit more comfortable with leading with the business with people, if they say no to that, we've always got the challenge pack to like fall back on. We've always got a free group to fall back on. But if you start with that and you start with it in the right way, like if I could show you how to put in 5 to 10 hours a week and create a second income for yourself that could potentially free up stress for your family, lead to more date nights, help you travel more, whatever it is, would you be interested in learning more about that? And that's the type of question that I think that we feel maybe sounds salesy or we feel unqualified to ask, but there are so many people out there who hate their jobs. Like, I think it's like 80% of people out there hate their jobs. So I think that presenting that opportunity to people is something that we should do. And if they say no, they say no, but at least you've kind of planted the seed. And I think that, the next big hurdle a lot of people have is, well, I don't know how to talk about the business. Well, in the beginning stages of coaching, I think what you have to do is say those starting qualifying questions, and to the extent they say they're open to more information or open to a conversation about it, connect them with your upline, or connect them with the Team Courage Coach sneak peek, or connect them with a video that you put together about how coaching has impacted you. Like, you don't necessarily have to have that full presentation yourself. And I think the beauty of our teams are that there are so many resources to put it together. So I know that is probably most people's objection to it. They don't know how to talk about it. But I think that if you at least know what resources are out there, you could literally get a brand new coach who identifies people right off the bat who might be, somebody that would be interested in the coaching opportunity. So I think if we could like at least learn the resources out there, the third-party tools, and that's really helpful. And I wanted to show you guys, I put this little diagram together because I think what I'm talking about is kind of hard. And I don't know if you could see it. Probably not, huh? Okay, well, I'll just show you. Like, basically, the book lays it out, and I think this is a pretty powerful tool. Like, if you, as a coach, sponsor 2 coaches, that's what? Like, 2 times 2 is, 1 times 2 is 2. So you have two coaches on your team, right? And then if you teach those 2 people how to sponsor 2 people, your team has grown to 4. If they teach their people how to sponsor 2 more people, then you grow to 8. And it shows that you don't have to go out and sponsor all these people. You've only sponsored 2, but your team size has grown to 8 or to 16 or, whatever comes next. But say you decided to sponsor 3 coaches and teach those 3 coaches to sponsor 3 coaches. Then your organization grows to 9, which then grows to 27. It's more about starting the process the right way with the new people that you potentially could sponsor, teaching them how to sponsor people correctly, and then starting to see that duplication in effect. And that's how, like, Stacey and I have had these conversations. You see coaches that have been in the business a year and they might make close to 6 figures versus, people that don't, people that are still having mostly retail income. And the difference is always going to be they are getting their coaches to reach out to new people, to add them as coaches, and then they're teaching their people how to do it. So it's multiple layers. And if you have an organization that's just 1 level deep, it's only going to generate so much income without you being a constant retailer. So basically, this kind of charted it out 3 levels deep. And if you sponsor 2 people and teach your 2 people to sponsor 2, your team size is 16. If you sponsor 3 and teach your 3 to sponsor 3, your team size is 81. If you go up to 5, which, a lot of us have sponsored, at least 2 coaches, if not 5, your team size grows to 625, and that's just from 3 levels. And that's like where crazy amounts of additional income come in, and that's how people leave their jobs in 2 years, So I think that we kind of always compare ourselves to other people, and we compare ourselves to the income other people are earning, especially if we're hitting Success Club and we're, throwing these killer challenge groups with people that are really active. But the difference really is the team and how the team is growing and how the team is adding to itself, essentially. So this was the little chart I wanted to show you. It's in this 45-second presentation book. But if you see that, it seems much more simple to grow the type of income you're probably looking for. I know I am looking for an income that replaces my full-time job. Well, that's exactly how it gets done, So I think we wanted to talk about that first. The second thing I wanted to talk about, I'm trying to keep this under 30 minutes, so I think I'm doing okay right now, but I wanted to just kind of put this other perspective out there, and this is more on the retail side, but coming up with a way that people you're encountering don't ever walk away from a conversation with you without something. I think that we have obviously gone into this challenge pack realm because that's what was being pushed. And that's wonderful. But Morgan and I were talking about it. Like, my background in college was I worked at Best Buy. I didn't work for commission, but I was working in retail. And if somebody came into the cell phone department where I was working, if they didn't want to activate a new phone, I wasn't going to turn them away. I was going to ask them if they, wanted to upgrade their current one, or if they maybe needed a new case for the phone that they had or something. Like, am I making you laugh, Courtney? We have this whole retail store also at our disposal. And my team and I have talked about this. Like, I think shooting for a certain volume each month versus Success Club really is a good indicator of what kind of income you can earn, because then you're not excluding all these people who aren't quite ready for a challenge pack. And a lot of people have the initial goal of getting Shakeology covered. Well, the math on that works out to you're aiming for about 400 to 500 PV in a month. So, in essence, dollars. But there are so many ways you could put that together. Yes, you could do that by getting the Success Club 5 or Success Club 7, or I guess they don't even really do the 1 point anymore, but there also is so much else you can do. So we were kind of brainstorming about different ideas. Like, obviously with Clean Week out now, I think you basically have the option to give every person your link to your week of workouts. If they don't want to do the paywall thing, you can download the menu from Clean Week and send it to them. If you have people that just want to work on nutrition, well, you can send them that Clean Week menu. I think that the accountability piece is going to be missing for a lot of these people if they aren't in a group, but I've been trying to kind of, each person I'm encountering that we talk about something, I try to say, like, here's your all-in option for everything that we've talked about, or here is at least one piece of it that you could start with. And that qualifies a lot of people for, maybe it's a 3-day refresh, maybe it's Energize, just that. Maybe it's the like quarterly Beachbody on demand. But I think what that actually does is it gives you more income coming in. It gives you more ability to kind of upgrade those people. Like, you can always easily like give someone 7 days, 14 days, or 3 months of a workout. And if they come back to you in a month and say, I'm just not seeing the results I'm looking for, say, okay, are you following the meal plan? Do you have accountability? Do you have this? Do you have that? If they're not in a group with you, and you've got some obvious things you can then talk to them about, they've already got your trust, essentially, or you've got their trust. So I think that if you are having conversations with people and you can kind of get to the point where, like, what I like to do is always say, do you mind if I ask you some questions? And no one's ever going to say no, because they've already complained to me about whatever it is, most likely. And I literally go through this huge spiel of nutrition questions, fitness questions, lifestyle questions, and then I tie it all together and I say, Beachbody On Demand Challenge Pack is almost always going to be a really good fit. But I will say to them, here's your all-in option with it. If you want to just work on this piece, why don't you start with the 7-day trial with me and give me a week? Or why don't you start with the 14-day trial and give me a week? Or why don't you start with a Shakeology group and give me a week? And I think if you could kind of make sure everyone walks away with something, some next step from you, then your list of follow-up starts to grow, because those people haven't just totally gone silent after you've said $160 and they freak out and say they can't afford it. Like, you've given them like a range of options and let them choose. And they can stay in your funnel, or they can join your group, and then they can compare the results they're getting to someone else who might be having the best transformation ever, who's listened to all of your recommendations, and then say, okay, now I'm ready to try that. And I think, like, one of the reasons why I've hit Success Club most months is because I almost always recycle an old customer. Beachbody does not take away points unless you get to like number 3 on the challenge pack. But like, my mentality was always like, those people need help first because they already trust me. They already know me. So I always kept those people in my funnel. But now we kind of have a way to do it with prospects a little bit more, because we have a lot more free options and a lot more other options to offer. So I just wanted to encourage you guys to like play around with the Team Beachbody store. Like, I used the skincare stuff for the first time like 6 months ago, and my skin feels wonderful. I mean, I don't know, like, maybe you have a Rodan and Fields person says they can't afford it, and they're talking to you about their nutrition, and you can say, well, like, we also have something that's really good. Maybe you could look at that too, whatever. I also was talking to Morgan about maybe doing like an Energize Your Workouts group, and you could buy those like little packets of Energize yourself. And I think it's, I don't know, like $18 for a 10-pack or something, and do a 5-day group and reach all those people out there that have a gym, have a bar studio, have a CrossFit box, and maybe charge them, I don't know, like $7 to join your group. I mean, that's not a bad idea, I think like the pre-workouts that are out there, a lot of them are really crappy, and ours is great. So I think Courtney like made a post about hers one day, and she got somebody on HD Energize. Like, if you had, I don't know, 5 people a month on HD Energize with you, that's a pretty good little chunk of change that you can count on. So it's just a thought. And then those people will start to tell the other people at their gym about it, which can then lead to, a bigger customer base for you. Or maybe that person becomes your next coach too, like if they're already talking about it and they're seeing success. I just think that we have to get away from thinking that someone has to have a challenge pack to be a coach. Someone has to be a challenger to be a coach. Someone has to have a challenge pack to be in our groups. Like we kind of want to be able to add value to every person we encounter, because we do have access to so much stuff. So I wanted to make this call more like get you thinking about maybe some different ways to run this, because we all have different strengths. And like, if you're somebody like me who went to law school and everyone you know has $100,000 in student loan debt, well, those people all would love a way to pay down that debt. So if I was able to present the business opportunity to them, I would get more people that maybe don't have this great love of fitness, but they know a lot of other people with student loan debt who would benefit from a second gig that lets them work it in their cracks. So, I think we kind of have to look at what our target market is, look at who is showing up in our Facebook feed or Instagram feed or at work even, and say, what ways can I maybe add value there, and think outside the box a little bit, because I think we have a ton of resources to do that. That's all I got. Does anybody have questions?
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in and interrupt you. Before I forget, talking about Energize HD, or just like people who are going to do random, if you have your spouse signed up, or you have, a U+2, somebody else that you manage, that's where I put stuff under Nick, because it bumps my volume and we still get the commission. Just a little side note.
Yeah, we have a lot of coaches who are very hesitant to sign their spouse because they look at it as an extra Shakeology every single month fee. Well, my perspective would be, no, it's an extra $15.95 a month fee, and you either run a customer through him to keep him active, or you come up with different ways to let people sample what we have. And if it's hydrate, like if you want to help some nursing mamas get their supplies up, talk about hydrate. If you want to order Energize packets and run a group like that each month, or even just like pinpoint your friends that maybe would benefit, because I think that they don't necessarily need as much substance in a group for it if they're already working out that much. But that's an easy way to like continue to keep that person active. See if you're at Emerald yourself, see your cycle bonuses increase, and then you can also teach your coaches to do that more efficiently, and it doesn't look like this huge stressor of an extra Shakeology HD expense.
Yeah. And then also, when you were saying leading with the business opportunity, I don't know if y'all have read Get Over Your Damn Self, but I just thought about it as you were saying that. I think I've read this book 3 times, and it's like falling apart. I have so much highlighted, and I carried this book around.
The book I had here. Yeah. Because I was thinking,
but
like,
she said,
if you need scripts, this is the script book,
Yes.
If you want to learn why maybe you're not growing as fast as you want to grow, and your coaches maybe aren't, this is a book to read. Like this book is like 50 years old or something, but it suggests that you pass it on to your prospect and tell them to read the first 4 chapters so they can see like the power of duplication in this business, and then not go past that point, but just read it. And then you guys can talk about you don't even have to talk about your products yet. You just talk about what this business can do for you.
Yeah, that's really cool. Because she says, if someone's not interested in trying your products that you've already asked them about, how the hell can you say to them, you're not interested in what our company sells, but you should totally take a look at starting a business that revolves around the very thing you're disinterested in? You can't say that.
Yeah.
And then how you, on that same note, you were saying, figure out how to add value to each specific person. Like you can't say the same thing to the same person when you're offering the business opportunity, because it's not going to be meaningful to them. So the book teaches you how to like figure out their pain points and craft your message to them. Like you were saying, this business does not have to be to somebody who just feels like they need to lose 10 pounds. Like you don't have to approach it with them that way. It could be tons and tons and tons of ways. Student loan debt, the mom who wants to go on a date night, or get a freaking manicure once a week, or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I have to honestly say, like, I started this just to get a discount, but then it turned into, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll pay on some debt. Then, oh, I get to buy myself like a new outfit every once in a while. That's awesome. And I think we all jump to this, like, we hear the success stories of people walking away from their jobs. Not everyone wants to walk away from their job. Number one, not everyone wants to be a stay-at-home mom. So I think if we can tie in, obviously, multiple pain points for people in our post with a story, then that's obviously ideal. Like, In the beginning, I thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and then I stayed at home for like 6 weeks with both kids, and I said, no, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. So I had to stop posting that because that just wasn't me, you know? Like, and a lot of the women I went to school with, like law school, undergrad, a little bit mixed bag, but they're like, no, I want to work. And so that totally shifted my mind to say, I've been doing this, like I did this wrong for over a year. Like I was too scared to talk about financial like gain, because I think people look at MLM as icky, but ultimately, like, it's dumb that somebody wouldn't consider it, especially if you're hit really hard from a tax perspective. It's a great way to write off things. It's a great way to start to pay off that debt, and it makes you feel sane at times because it just tells you to stop and like focus on yourself a little bit. So I think the cool thing about our teams and like the mix of people that we have is we all have different stories with this, but that just shows you there are so many needs out there for people. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the other part, the like leaving people with value, and I think we have a couple coaches on our team that really do it well, but like personal development, like I've had people tell me I'm just not ready for this stuff yet. I'm really struggling with this. And I make a book recommendation. And that goes a really long way for those people. Like a girl last week I was talking to, and she's like, I don't care about my health right now. I'll just tell you that. But I feel like this, and this. And I talked to her about buying a book. She bought it immediately, finished it in like 2 days. And she's like, I appreciate you so much. So, I mean, it like creates a relationship that's going to probably have more substance to it down the road. But like, we have so many good resources at our fingertips, and no, they don't all lead to income now. But like, if you are committed to being here a year from now, you will start to see some of those people come back out, and they're going to come to you because you've left an imprint on them.
Yeah. Agree very much with that.
Yeah.
Even now, 2.5 years later, I'm like, oh, wow, it's been 2 years since I talked to you, but I'm so glad to hear from you. Like, it happens.
Well, and I think some people need to see you be consistent for a while for them to trust you too.
Yep.
I'm going to unmute everybody, and if anybody else has any questions. Everybody good?
So thank you.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Thanks for coming. And I will upload this and send every leader the link, and then everyone can post it in their pages.
Good.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.